Out of 47.6 million Kenyans, over 13.7 million are aged between 18 to 35 years. This constitutes 29% of the country's population and 67% of Kenya's adult population. This age bracket, also referred to as the youth, as defined in Article 55 of the Constitution of Kenya, are both a challenge and an opportunity. As an opportunity, Kenya stands to reap huge demographic dividends that come with a youthful population, such as inexhaustible workforce, innovativeness and ingenuity of the youth, and much more. On the threat side, these are rather obvious: challenges of unemployment, wasted human capacity, poverty, crime, among others.
In Kenya, we are still sitting on a ticking time bomb called youth, because we are not really harnessing that energy inside them.
For a long time, focus on youth has not been there even at the national level. It's just very recently we started seeing ministry in charge of youth, the National Youth Service being strengthened. But these are still a national level activities. Down there at the counties, they have not really been trickled down.
The foundation of every state, they say, is the education of its youth. The government of Kenya has identified youth empowerment as a key focus area in its development agenda and continues to channel resources aimed at the achievement of these goals and objectives.
The government has developed and rolled out actually what we call Kenya Youth Development Policy. So therefore then, as a school of government, I want to be part of helping the government to realize the rollout of this policy. Basically, Kenya Youth Development Policy is to empower youth, to give them opportunities, to give them programs that will ultimately realize their dream in terms of life and their livelihood.
Through policy, government ministries, departments and agencies are required to be deliberate in targeting the youth in their core services. In adherence to these policies and programs, the Kenya School of Government, or KSG, a statutory agency established by an Act of Parliament with the mandate of transforming the public service through human resource capacity development, has developed and runs a youth program along its key mandate.
The school has developed a number of curriculums targeting young people, and one of the curriculum is Young Leaders Development Program, modeling it around university student leaders. And then another program that is very critical is Young Women in Leadership. As Kenya School of Government, we are forging an equal gender treatment and of course growth, whereby both male and female youth can actually get an equal opportunity to engage public sector and of course in any capacity.
For the last 2 years, Kenya School of Government has partnered with United Nations Development Program, UNDP, to ensure that this program benefits Kenyan youth.
It's a very clear fact that youth have to be at the center of any development agenda, and for us as UNDP this is also indeed the case. We've actually committed under our country program to put youth at the center of everything that we do, which means that we need to engage youth in getting their ideas on how to design our programs, but also to work with them as beneficiaries of our different programmatic interventions.
The youth in the 8 FCDC counties constitute about 29% of the population, with an employment rate of about 53.6%.
Our education system has not been very good for quite some time, and therefore a lot of young people don't transition further beyond Form 4 because the performances are not very good. So you find a home with 5, 6, on average of maybe 4 young people who are at home.
Left unattended, the young people in northern Kenya easily become disillusioned and engage in crime and social ills. Yet, hope springs eternal, and thus the need to harness the immense youth potential by supporting them by way of voice and agency.
There was a very strong desire within the donors and the UN to ensure we enhance the voice of the youth so that when the resources, the planning of the resources is being discussed, they are a core element of that dialogue. This way, the youth programs at county level would be enhanced. There will be specific resources that would be allocated for youth empowerment.
We really needed a place where the youth can come together and on their own also explore opportunities.
In responding to the youth challenge in the FCDC counties, UNDP Kenya, through the Integrated Support Program to the Devolution Process in Kenya project, in partnership with the Kenya School of Government KSG, collaborated with the Isiolo County Government to implement a youth program in Isiolo County aimed at building the capacity of youth on entrepreneurship and life skills, and establishing a youth learning center.
Devolution brings empowerment to the people, so the people should include the youth. So if the youth are not there, it means first they're alienated from decision-making process. It also means that the decision that will be made may not necessarily work to their favor. We need a youth-centered, governance system.
Within the devolution perspective, youth empowerment, public participation is a devolved function, and hence for us this is why it fits in well with working with the Kenya School of Government and Isiolo County to ensure that young people are empowered and facilitated to do business and to provide livelihoods for themselves.
Then the points of view of the youth are taken into account in budget making process, and also the youth get to understand what is available for them in government decision-making process, planning process, budgeting process, legislative process.
Through the United Nations Development Assistance Framework, or UNDAF, UNDP's support to this program is aligned to Kenya government's Medium-Term Plan 3 and Vision 2030.
This is a negotiated document where we set out priorities between the government and the UN, aligned with these frameworks to see what practically we can do in terms of priority areas. So for us, the UN Development Assistance Framework has three broad priority areas. One is transformative governance, another one is on human capital, and the third is looking at sustainable economic growth.
Kenya School of Government Youth Program, in partnership with UNDP Kenya, in this phase, targets the youth from northern Kenya, a region that has historically faced marginalization and currently falls within what is referred to as the terror belt, where radicalization and violent extremism is a present and real challenge.
We wanted to make sure that we're working with county governments that are in need of support in terms of the human development indicators. And Isiolo was one of the counties that was identified.
So inevitably, a lot of our programs around supporting young people and entrepreneurs and innovators in Kenya are focused around urban hubs, particularly in Nairobi. But we're very conscious also that our programming with Kenya must be inclusive, and therefore we also have programs in rural areas. And the Isiolo Innovation Centre is a great example of that. So it's providing business skills and learning opportunities for young people in Isiolo, and not only are they then becoming equipped to become business people themselves, but it also sets the foundations for a really positive partnership with the county government of Isiolo, so they can work together on decision making and the future of that county.
And this is a program that really focuses on an innovative way of engaging youth to strengthen their entrepreneurial skills. Not in a classroom environment, but more so engaging with them directly to strengthen their business skills and also have additional mentoring and support above and beyond the once-off training and engagement for employment creation.
Young people now are thinking through how do they involve themselves in leadership and governance within the county. How do they able to understand the county processes? And of course, through the involvement, they're able to understand, to be able to actively participate in public participation.
This program recognizes the potential for investing in youth and the associated immense possibilities in creation of productive employment and decent work, improving human capital, livelihoods and poverty reduction. The pilot project supported 52 youths through capacity building initiative that combined targeted training, mentorship and coaching and advocacy with county governments.
So we went to Kenya School of Government, and where we were trained on various skills. We had to be taught on issues of business planning, balancing, and skills on how to basically practice or come up with projects.
As a result, over 20 youth have started their own businesses, creating jobs and improving livelihoods for their families.
Training ilinifungua kichwa, ndo hapa nilipofika kwa grassroots kuna group ambayo kwamba ilikuwa inaitwa Kambioda Small Scale Farming, ambayo kwamba ilikuwa na watu 50. So sasa hiyo group ilikuwa ni kitu imeanza 2015, lakini ikakuja ikakufa. So wakati nilipofika hapa, kitu wa kwanza nilikuja kuamsha ile group. Nikawaletea idea ya kutengeleza BIFs.
It has helped me in terms of even coming up with good agricultural skills. Like initially, people used to do the farming through maybe traditional ways, but here we are. Like for me, when I started this farming, I involved the use of a tractor, good agricultural practices.
The county government of Isiolo has facilitated the establishment of a youth revolving fund, enabling business, startups and growth for formerly existing businesses.
After we had received the skills, one of them being knowing what is rightfully ours within the government, we were able to mobilize youths through formation of groups, and our voice was captured in the CIDP. We involved the MCS to pass a motion through the county assembly so that the youth can benefit from what we call the youth fund.
What we did as an assembly is that we were able to pass the youth, women and PWD's revolving fund, and we were also able to set a regulation. Since it's a money bill and it's effected, we've set up the committees governing this fund.
This year, for the first time, they are going to have 8 million for women, 8 million for youth, and 5 million for the disabled, so that those who have the ability to do businesses and those who already have been engaging in businesses can be able to have a little bit more capital.
The county government has also set aside 30% of the procurement opportunities for the youth, women and persons with disabilities through the AGPO, or Access to Government Procurement Opportunities.
Through this program, the school basically takes the young people to understand the processes of AGPO. How do you able to pitch for your business? How do you write a business plan? How are you able to convince that this is actually a good plan for business? And then of course, the other thing is that how do you able to have an organization that is legitimate? And that's why the school, through this program, we taught young people on business registration models.
In establishing the KSG Youth Learning Center in Isiolo, UNDP and Kenya School of Government, through funding from Department for International Development, DFID, seeks to extend youth capacity development in Isiolo County.
For a youth to actually be empowered, they need access to information. They actually need to be enlightened. And that's why the youth empowerment is a great initiative, which actually will give an opportunity to the young people to know and have an opportunity to even access some of these information. When you look at innovation and creativity, you need to have a breeding ground for you to actually grow and innovate. And I believe this center offers that to my youth, my fellow youth, that this center will be a breeding hub.
The center has developed a program that seeks to promote the talents that the youth have, because these talents otherwise could remain untapped, and yet these talents can be a source of even livelihood for the youth and even for the community as a whole.
What we are going to do on our part is to run the creative center, the element of the creative economy aspect within the Youth Empowerment Center, where we are going to have a film school of sorts where people are trained on the job. So what they can expect from us is skills, is inspiration, is ideas that are going to help them. And then we buy them the equipment. These guys need modern equipment that can create quality films.
The facility is a one-stop center information delivery platform that is equipped with computers, furniture and internet and is open to the youth of Isiolo. The center that is now operational hosts an art studio, training hub and working space.
We had nothing that could unify, nothing that could bring youth together. But now with this center, I think youth could come up together, yeah? We could share our challenges in various sectors of life. It will be a center where we can channel our information, maybe to the government, to various NGOs.
I'm seeing also more roles for these youth centers. For example, data collection. So this data, once collected, can be made available to institutions or government agencies that want to use them against some form of a fee. So that also helps long-term sustainability of these centers.
As part of the program, UNDP through Kenya School of Government has facilitated the county government of Isiolo in setting up an SMS platform for ease of communication with the youth in the county. The platform has enabled the county government to easily alert the youth when there are opportunities such as procurement tenders, alert them about public participation fora, for instance on budgets. The SMS platform has also been strategically used by the county government and county commissioner to promote peace and dialogue at the community level. The youth are also receiving COVID-19 related messages from the county government through the platform.
The first time I joined the SMS platform, I saw some advert of a tender and a job, which it was done some 6 months ago. And I get the tender from that SMS platform.
To join the SMS platform, the youth visit www.semausikike.org. Besides Isiolo, this project will be implemented in the counties of Marsabit, Wajir, Mandera, Turkana, Garissa, Lamu, and Tana River under the auspices of the Frontier Counties Development Council, or FCDC, which is also a partner in this project's implementation.
Isiolo County is going to be the pioneer, and it's also going to be for us a learning experience, but with the objective of expanding it to other counties. We'll closely work with the UNDP and the Kenya School of Government to expand this opportunity to the youth in other parts of this country as well.
With the Youth Learning Center operational, various partners are National Youth Council, the UN Family, World Vision, among others.
Some of the lessons learned is the whole issue of thinking the basic aspects such as sustainability. For, we looked at it and said, the moment KSG is the one running this program alone, then the whole issue of sustainability, the moment we withdraw, then it will collapse. So we've learned to bring others on board. We brought on board the youth themselves, who are the beneficiaries. We brought on board all the leaders in the counties, so that then they really appreciate and understand the role of the center, because the moment you get everybody, the buy-in, you'll get the ownership of the program. So the MCS, the members of county assembly, we had a meeting with them. We explained to them the reason for this, so that in future, if there is any budget required for the center, then they can easily support because of understanding the program.
One way, of course, is to put legislation in place or policy within the counties to ensure that they adopt the model upon which now these youth centers are going to be developed. Once it's enshrined within the existing policies or new policies, it becomes more easier for long term for counties to continue on their own without assistance from development partners.
For more information on the Kenya School of Government Learning Center, visit www.ksgyouthcenter.com. This project is made possible through the generous support of the Government of the United Kingdom through DFID and Government of Norway.